Hello everyone and welcome to Sparkle English, where I teach you how to improve your English language skills. I have an English Writing Essentials series teaching you about how to use punctuation marks and improve your writing skills. My most popular video on this channel is my 8 comma rules video. So in today's lesson, we are going to test your knowledge on how to use commas. Make sure to watch my lesson on the 8 most common comma rules before attempting this test. If you don't pass this test, you should revise the comma rules video again before trying this test a second time. But right now, I'm going to go over the 8 comma rules very quickly before we do our 20-question test. Rule number 1 is we use commas to separate items in a series of 3 or more things. For example, Mom bought cake, ice cream, decorations, and balloons for my party. You can see here we use commas after each item in the list if it's a series of 3 or more things. We went kayaking, swimming, and water skiing in the summer. The comma before the conjunction is called the Oxford comma. It's not always necessary, but I think it's better to use the Oxford comma for consistency. I also have a video on the Oxford comma, which I will link you to in the description below. My boyfriend is handsome, kind, and generous. Rule number 2. Use a comma to separate independent clauses, which is a complete thought or a complete sentence, when they are joined by the following conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Example, Jack is going to the cinema, comma, and Jill is going to the beach. Because these are full sentences, they are independent clauses, we have to use a comma before the conjunction. He wants to travel to Mexico, comma, but she wants to travel to Hawaii. Rule number 3. Use a comma to separate a dependent clause, which is an incomplete thought or incomplete sentence, from an independent clause, which is a complete thought or a complete sentence. For example, when I studied in England, comma, I was just an innocent teenager. This sentence here is not a complete thought or a complete sentence. You couldn't say, when I studied in England, period. You need the second part of the sentence, the independent clause, for it to make sense. So we have to use a comma to separate the dependent clause when it comes before the independent clause. If the sentence is, I was just an innocent teenager when I studied in England, we do not need a comma because the word when connects these two sentences together. But if the dependent clause comes first, we need a comma. Another example, if it rains tomorrow, comma, let's cancel the barbecue. If we had the independent clause first, let's cancel the barbecue if it rains tomorrow, we would not need a comma because the word if connects the sentences together. Rule 4. Use a comma to separate any word or phrase from the rest of the sentence that isn't essential to the sentence's meaning. So for example, this would be incorrect. Mr. Smith, my English teacher, is retiring this year. Instead, we'll put Mr. Smith, comma, my English teacher, is retiring this year. My English teacher is extra information about Mr. Smith. It's not essential to the sentence. The sentence is really Mr. Smith is retiring this year. And my English teacher is some extra information about Mr. Smith. So we're going to use commas to separate this from the sentence. Rule 5. Use a comma to separate a quotation from the rest of a sentence. In American English, commas always go before closing quotation marks. For example, I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon, comma, he said. You can see that the comma in American English comes before the closing quotation marks. Or, Sue's boss yelled, comma, stop wasting my time. In this case, we are introducing the quotation, and the comma would come before the quotation mark. Rule 6. Use a comma to separate an introductory element from the rest of a sentence. For example, yes, comma, we need to leave soon. Sadly, comma, I'm allergic to peanuts and chocolate. Unfortunately, comma, I won't be able to make it to your dinner party. Rule 7. Use a comma to separate the name of a city from a country or state. They will retire in Venice, Italy, next year. She was born in Valencia, Spain. And finally, Rule 8. Use a comma to separate the day of the week, the day of the month, and the year. Today is Wednesday, comma, June 30th, comma, 2021. They will get married on Sunday, comma, May 21st, comma, 2022. Okay, so now we are ready to take the test based on these rules. So, test your knowledge. Are these sentences correct? How many can you get correct out of 20? So, I'm going to start with these first 6 questions. And what I'm going to do is read out all these sentences one by one, and then we will correct the first 6 together. Some of these are correct and some are incorrect. So first, I'm going to read them, and then we will correct them together. Number 1. Dad bought chips and crackers at the supermarket. Number 2. We need milk, eggs, and cheese to make omelets for breakfast. Number 3. I want to go to Greece, France, and Italy next year. Number 4. He is Spanish, but I am Canadian. Number 5. We have a meeting tomorrow and one on Tuesday afternoon. Number 6. They will meet us at the train station and we will all travel to London together. So take some time to answer these and pause the video if you need to. Now we're going to correct them together. Number 1 is incorrect. We do not need a comma here. We can't use a comma here. We only use a comma in a list of 3 or more things. And this is just a list of 2 things, chips and crackers. So we do not need a comma here. Number 2 is correct. We need a comma after milk and eggs because this is a list of 3 things. Number 3 is incorrect. We have a list of 3 different countries, so we have to put a comma after Greece and after France. Again, that's the Oxford comma, the last comma in a list before the conjunction. In some style guides, they say you don't have to use it, but I prefer to use the Oxford comma, and most style guides prefer it. Number 4 is incorrect. We need to put a comma after Spanish and before but, since we have 2 different independent clauses. We have he is Spanish, which is a complete sentence, an independent clause, and I am Canadian. So we need to connect these 2 with a comma before the conjunction but. Number 5. We have a meeting tomorrow and one on Tuesday afternoon. This is correct. We do not need a comma, and we cannot use a comma before and because one on Tuesday afternoon is not an independent clause. Number 6. They will meet us at the train station and we will all travel to London together. Here we need a comma after station because we have two independent clauses that we are connecting with the conjunction and. They will meet us at the train station is a complete sentence, an independent clause, and we will all travel to London together is also a complete sentence, an independent clause. So we have to connect these two with a comma before the conjunction. So for this, you can see how many you got correct out of 6. And we're going to continue the quiz because we have 20 questions in total. Number 7. If it's sunny tomorrow, let's go to the beach. Number 8. When it snows outside, we love to go tobogganing. Number 9. Serena, my girlfriend, is a flight attendant for American Airlines. Number 10. I don't like sushi, Jason told us. Number 11. Jack asked, should we go to the cinema tonight? Number 12. Sadly, the concert has been canceled due to rain. Number 13. She lives in Berlin, Germany. So in this one, we have out of 7, and we're going to correct them now together. Number 7 is incorrect. If it's sunny tomorrow, comma, let's go to the beach. If it's sunny tomorrow is a dependent clause, and it comes before the independent clause, let's go to the beach. So when we have a dependent clause before an independent clause, we have to connect it with a comma. This also applies to number 8, which is incorrect. When it snows outside, comma, we love to go tobogganing. Again, when it snows outside is a dependent clause, so we need to connect it with a comma with the independent clause, we love to go tobogganing. Number 9 is a tricky one. It is also incorrect. We are missing one comma. Can you spot where we need to put a comma? Serena, my girlfriend, comma, is a flight attendant for American Airlines. My girlfriend is extra information that is not essential to the sentence. The full sentence is Serena is a flight attendant for American Airlines, and my girlfriend is some extra added information about Serena. So we can put that in commas. And remember, we need both commas on either side of this extra information. Number 10 is correct. I don't like sushi, Jason told us. We have a comma here before the closing quotation marks, and that comma replaces a period. Number 11, Jack asked, should we go to the cinema tonight? This is incorrect. We are missing a comma. We're missing the comma before the quotation marks after asked. Jack asked, comma, should we go to the cinema tonight? Number 12 is also incorrect. We're missing a comma after an introductory element. Sadly, comma, the concert has been canceled due to rain. And 13 is also incorrect. We are missing a comma. We're missing a comma to separate the city and the country. She lives in Berlin, comma, Germany. Okay, so now you can add up how many you got correct out of 7. And finally, we have our last set of questions. Again, out of 7. No, I can't come to your house tomorrow. Number 15. Harrison Ford was born on July 13th, 1942. Number 16. When I was 22, I moved to Europe. Number 17. Let's go for a coffee this afternoon, Mary suggested. Number 18. Yesterday was my best friend's birthday, so I took her out for dinner. Number 19. We went shopping and had lunch at a new restaurant. Number 20. Mom asked, have you done your homework? Okay, so let's correct them together. Number 14 is incorrect. Again, we are missing a comma after an introductory element. No, comma, I can't come to your house tomorrow. Number 15 is also incorrect because we are missing a comma after 13. We use a comma to separate the day, the date, and the year. So Harrison Ford was born on July 13th, comma, 1942. Number 16 is correct. We have a comma after the dependent clause, when I was 22, to connect it with the independent clause, I moved to Europe. Number 17 is also correct. We have a comma before the closing quotation marks, and that replaces the period. Number 18 is incorrect. We're missing a comma. We have two independent clauses. Yesterday was my best friend's birthday, and I took her out for dinner. So we need a comma before the conjunction so to connect these two independent clauses. Number 19 is correct. We do not need a comma before the conjunction because these are not two independent clauses. We went shopping is an independent clause, but had lunch at a new restaurant is a dependent clause. Finally, Mom asked, have you done your homework? This is incorrect. We're missing a comma after asked. Mom asked, comma, have you done your homework? So we need that comma before the opening quotation marks. Okay, so now it's time to add up your score out of 20 on this Comma Rules Quiz 1. If you got more than 15, congratulations. If you got less than 15, I recommend you watch this video again or watch my in-depth video lesson on 8 comma rules so you can get a lot more practice on how to use commas with each of these rules. And then you can come back and try this quiz again. If you guys like this video, please click like and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more different videos just like this one. If you want more help on anything related to English, write a comment in the comment section telling me what you would like me to teach you. Thank you guys once again for watching, and I will see you in my next lesson.